Memory is an incredible gift that we all possess. It's the ability to learn, retain, and recall information, and it's what allows us to navigate through our daily lives with ease. From remembering our loved ones' birthdays to recalling important details about a project at work, memory is a crucial part of who we are. But have you ever stopped to think about how memory works? How do we actually learn, retain, and recall information? In this article, we'll explore the science behind memory and how you can improve your own memory skills. Learning. The first step. Learning is the process by which we acquire new information. It's the first step in the memory process, and it's essential if we want to remember anything at all. When we learn something new, our brain forms connections between neurons, which allows us to store that information for later retrieval. One of the most effective ways to learn is through repetition. By repeating information over and over again, we strengthen those neural connections and make it easier for us to remember that information in the future. This is why memorization techniques like reciting flashcards or repeating a list out loud can be so helpful. Another effective learning strategy is to make connections between new information and things you already know. This helps your brain to form more robust neural networks, which makes it easier for you to remember the new information. For example, if you're trying to remember a new person's name, you might associate it with a memorable characteristic or something else you already know about them. Retention. Holding onto information. Retention is the ability to hold onto information over time. It's what allows us to remember things even after we've stopped actively thinking about them. There are several factors that can impact retention, including how often you review the information and how well you understand it in the first place. One of the most effective ways to improve retention is through spaced repetition. This involves reviewing information at increasingly longer intervals over time. By doing this, you're giving your brain more opportunities to consolidate that information into long-term memory. This can help you remember things for longer periods of time without having to actively think about them. Another factor that can impact retention is how well you understand the information in the first place. If you don't fully understand something when you first learn it, it's going to be much harder for you to remember it later on. This is why it's so important to take the time to really understand new concepts before moving on to something else. Recall. Bringing information back to mind. Recall is the final step in the memory process, and it's what allows us to bring information back to mind when we need it. There are several strategies you can use to improve your recall abilities, including visualization and association. Visualization involves creating mental images of the information you want to remember. By associating specific images with certain concepts or facts, you make it easier for your brain to recall that information later on. For example, if you're trying to remember someone's name, you might associate it with a mental image of their face or a memorable characteristic. Association involves linking new information with things you already know or have experienced before. This helps your brain to form more robust neural networks and makes it easier for you to remember the new information later on. For example, if you're trying to remember a list of items, you might associate each item with a specific location or object in your environment. In conclusion, memory is an incredible gift that allows us to learn, retain, and recall information over time. By understanding how learning, retention, and recall work, we can improve our own memory skills and make it easier for us to remember important details in our daily lives. Whether you're studying for an exam or trying to remember someone's name at a party, these strategies can help you improve your memory abilities and make life just a little bit easier. So why not subscribe our channel today and watch more exciting content related to memory and learning? Your brain will thank you.